Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of EETV, where I strive to bring you everything in entertainment. Now, with Power Rangers Once and Always having aired on Netflix, and everyone has saw it, given their reviews, and I've done mine as well. It's more so the questions that were and were not answered in the special. What can we expect to see in the future? Well, if you are a big Ranger fan and you checked out Nakia Burai's and Kathleen Sutherland's podcast, then you would see that Nakia Burai's had showed interest in filming a special after seeing what Kathleen Sutherland's experience was while filming Once and Always. Now, this is a good sign, because if they can get more actors and actresses who are interested in reprising their former roles, then we could not only get some closure or just better written stories as far as cleaning up the continuity of the franchise as a whole, we can get untold stories that gives us updates on our favorite Ranger teams going forward. And we can do this at the same time while we're seeing the reboot, and also while Cosmic Fury is happening as well. Now, this is good, and the reason why it's good, if they handle this thing correctly, just like they've handled Cobra Kai correctly, you can get nostalgia done right. Yes, Once and Always had its problems, but overall it was a success, and it was good that it showed progress going forward, which means they handled it the right way. I think they did handle it the right way, and people want to see more of this. Now, given that they can't do the same thing, they're going to have to do better. But the thing is, they can do better because they already have enough source material to work off of. If you treat the actors and actresses with respect and really pay attention to the continuity and throw in creativity, you can have something special. Another special. Yes. And I think that should take place, because you can see there is a want to see what happened to some of the fans' favorite Ranger teams from the past. And you can do that. You can do that. And with and who's to say they're not doing that, since Cosmic Fury is coming up? And if you know about Cosmic Fury, that means just like Power Rangers in space, the world is being opened up. So they're not just going to be exclusively on Earth or exclusively on another planet. They're going to be able to travel to different places, just like they did in Power Rangers in space. Now, given that, you can open up the continuity and do more things, have more of everything. The villains, Ranger teams that can be seen more, and just anything that you can think of, because you opened it up that they're going to be traveling all over the place. Now, given that, if they do this the right way, and hopefully they have, when you have Cosmic Fury, you can have them running into different other Ranger teams, and also having them play a part of the story at the same time, not taking anything away from the Cosmic Fury team, but letting the different fan favorite Ranger teams have their time in the light without completely taking over the show. Now, I think that's good. Now, what does that remind you of? If you're a big Ranger and Sentai fan like myself, that reminds me of Gokaiger from Super Sentai, where they had different Ranger teams guest starring depending on what was going on. And but you could watch that and learn from the mistakes from Gokaiger, and have this done in a way that connects the continuity, and at the same time you won't get a visit from every Sentai team ever. I mean, sorry, we're not talking about Sentai, we're talking about Power Rangers. You won't get a visit from every Power Rangers team, but you get some teams that would fit into the continuity. So Of course, you have to have cameos and maybe not so much a co-star, but guest starring for a couple episodes. Definitely David Yost playing Billy, and that was left off at the end of Once and Always. And definitely you would have Karan Ashley and Johnny Young Bosch reprise Adam Park and Aisha because they're an SPA. And also, this takes place, if I remember correctly, this takes place before SPD, so you wouldn't have anyone from that team be on there. Or if you want to do it to really put a microscope underneath it, you could have some parts of SPD be there. You can have Doggy Kruger there. And if I remember correctly, because it's been years since I watched SPD, you can have, I think it was Sky's dad. Yeah, Sky's dad, the Blue Ranger, who later became the Red Ranger. You can have someone be Sky's father in Cosmic in Power Rangers Cosmic Fury. You can do that. And if I remember correctly, I think it was one or two other Rangers' parents that were SPD officers. You could have their parents portrayed, of course, by other actors. Or if you really want to up the nostalgia knob, you can have the old SPD Ranger cast portraying their character's parent there. So you get to double up on the nostalgia, so to say. You can see Sky, you could have the guy, and I forget his name, but you can have the actor that plays Sky, have him actually play his father, and have him in Cosmic Fury, and then that way you can double up on the nostalgia right there. And I think there's something that they might do, because that will keep everybody interested and keep everything going. It would be nice. And also, some questions that have been lingering on in the franchise, it would be nice if they were answered, just to keep everybody interested. And you know how you're trying to keep everything fresh and new? By taking just a little bit of the old and actually putting giving closure to some of the old and put it in with the new, and that ups everybody's interest. But if you're going to do that, you have to be extremely careful and make sure it is not uncreative, because if it's uncreative, then it's going to get ripped apart. And an example of taking a little bit of the old and bringing in the new is Once and Always, where they had Billy look for Zordon and wound up finding Rita, and Rita's essence take over the body of Alpha 8. That is example of taking a little bit of the old and being more creative and putting it into the new, and that way it piques everybody's interest. Now, what I said about Cosmic Fury, I'm going to move into the next little bit of topic. Now, one other thing that should happen as well is, in my opinion, they should not find Zordon. Billy has enough knowledge to be the mentor, so I think Billy, as well as still being able to morph and help out from time to time when he's needed, he should be more so of the Zordon role and being advisory and helping out, just like he did in Power Rangers Zeo. And also, going more with that, another thing that would make it better is the one thing that Zordon said to Andros before Andros shattered the tube to kill off all the evil that was in the universe at that time. He said, "I will always be with you in spirit." So you could have, and I know this is going to sound a little bit cheesy, but it's Power Rangers, so a little bit cheese is expected. Zordon should not make another appearance, but they should be guided by his essence, since the good energy in Zordon's tube went across the entire universe. His energy could be guiding them in the right way, but he should not make an appearance again, as far as the head being in a tube or him being reborn in another body or reincarnated. They should not do that, because that just makes his sacrifice in the end of Power Rangers in Space non and void, and it lifts the weight. No, you don't want to do what you don't want to retcon anything because that was a major event in Ranger history and you don't want to mess it up. What you could do is, like, if they're looking for something, you could have flora or fauna point them in the right direction, or something that happens like a rock falls and it unearths a entrance they couldn't find before and leads them in the path. Like Zordon's energy is guiding them, but he should not. And you make it subtle and you do it in a creative way that anybody who's paying attention would know that that's Zordon's energy helping them out. But he should not make another appearance, and he should not be recast, and he absolutely should not be reincarnated, because that just lifts the weight, like I said before. So that's how Zordon should come back, you know, being like the Force in Star Wars, something that's subtle and it's there if you listen through meditation, and then guides the Rangers on the way. And if you want to throw in the echo of a voice like Rangers, and then have him give just a little quick message, and then kind of like fade away, and then he just helps out through just the slight moving of inanimate objects, that's how it should be done. Because even if you use him as a voiceover, like a Force ghost type of way, that should be done very sparingly, because that's almost like reincarnating him. So if you do that, have him make a voice, he can only do it once. Only once, because you don't want to have him having access to coming back, because it'll just, like I said, it'll just null and void his sacrifice of the inner Power Rangers in space. It has to be done sparingly, and it has to do with creativity. I'm definitely looking forward to see if they, of course, like when Billy was going, the Equations are going to make another appearance. I think they should use, if they could get the same actors and actresses who played the Equation Rangers, they should definitely do that. And another thing, I know they didn't, and I know I said this on the last video, but they didn't reveal who the Phantom Ranger is, and we can speculate that it was not Billy, because he was there captured by Snizzard, and while Billy was taking care of business on Earth as the Blue Ranger. But we can speculate, after what they have given us, that maybe Billy helped develop the Phantom Ranger powers, because in the special, how he gave them the devices to turn invisible and it wouldn't be able to last for long, that was a hint. Maybe that was more so of an Easter egg or a hint or a nod towards the decades-long speculation that Billy was the Phantom Ranger. That's how I'm seeing that as. But now, after they've done that, maybe we can get the actual identity of the Phantom Ranger. Like in some other speculations, they could play around and have fun with it, and then bring in the old actors and actresses, how it come together with the continuity, and have respect for the source material. And I think they can just pull off something good. And I think they can pull off a series that more so updates you on all of your favorite Ranger teams, and have it be an occurring story that can be linked up to the rest of the franchise if you want, you know. And if they do this right, they could get a lot of people on board with this if they do it right. Well, that's all I have for this one. Tell me what you think in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe if you feel like it. Tell me what you're going to do about watching Power Rangers in the future. You know, after seeing the special, are you hyped about Cosmic Fury? Are you hyped about seeing more specials that bring in some of the old Ranger teams so you can see what they've been doing in their lives? Or you're more so looking forward to see what's going on with this new reboot that is separate from Cosmic Fury? Tell me your opinions. Let's start a conversation in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe if you feel like it. May the power protect you. Take care, everyone.